ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिमाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 25 नद्यां ममारदशमः इति शोचन् प्ररोदिति अज्ञानकृतविक्षेपं रोदनादिं विदुर्बुधाः. So Vidyaranya is commenting upon Brihadaranyaka Upanishad mantra 4.4.12 and the mantra is Atmanam chet vijaniyat ayam asmiti purushah kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. That's the mantra. And of course, Vidyaranya is commenting upon the first line of that mantra. That this mantra is quoted in the very first verse of this chapter. And the mantra says this Jivatma should know Atma Purushaha Atmanam Vijaniyat. This Jiva, Purushaha means this Jiva, should know basically a Atma, Kutastha, Chaitanya. How will he know? Ayam Ahamasmi, which is ever experienced, which is directly experienced, which is directly and permanently experienced. That's for that word I am is there. So I am Ahamasmi, that Kutastha Chaitanya is I am. So this is how we should know. Then the question was asked why I am cannot be used for Atma, because I am is used for the direct object. I am means this. This means which you are experiencing right now, which is in front of you, which is an object. You cannot use I am for the Atma. Well, we said because we are using word I am. In fact, word I am is more effective for usage in the case of Atma rather than even object for an Atma. Why? Because object is directly experienced, therefore we use this I am. But Atma is directly experienced and ever experienced also. And therefore, really speaking, object will not all the time, object will not, word I am cannot be used all the time for object which is in front, because any object cannot remain in front all the time. And so word I am also will go away. What is right now experienced directly will become an indirect later. So then this cannot be used. We have to use that. And therefore, which is ever experienced and directly experienced, that is only Atma. And therefore, I am is most effective for usage in case of Atma. So, I am Ahamasmi iti vijaniyat. This directly ever experienced, and the only subject is comes into this category. Consciousness can come into the category of permanently and directly experienced all the time. Anatma can never come in, come into this category. You can say it is directly experienced. What was indirect can become direct. What is direct can become indirect. That is all there. But that is never a case where you permanently experienced an object and therefore directly experience object, and therefore I am is best for usage so far as this for the Atma. So this such a aparoksha jnanam, well, immediate knowledge one should have of this Atma. That's what the first line says. Purushaha Atmanam Vijaniyat. Ayam asmi iti Vijaniyat. So that shows Atma is Swayam Prakash Chaitanyam. Therefore, that then only it is possible. This is the second thing. What is directly experienced and ever experienced must be consciousness. Yeah, because pramanas are there. So pramana can reveal a object which is direct, of course, but pramana resolves. When pramana resolves, pramata resolves. Everything resolves. Then who is going to experience the object? And therefore, what is jadam? Well, will never come under the category of a direct and ever experience. Direct and ever experience must be the self-effulgent consciousness. Atma. That's a very beautiful thing, and therefore there is no question of experience of self. Well, self-knowledge is there, but then later I have to experience Brahman. There is no question of experience at all. What is ever evident, direct evident and ever evident, well, so the only thing is which you may not be knowing. You may have a notion about it. That's all due to adhyasa. One has to drop the notion. That is the job of a pramana. That's all. Nothing else. If you drop the notion, well, you are ever evident. You are ever evident consciousness. That ever evident, directly experienced consciousness, well, which is limitless, has been taken as a limited being due to adhyasa. And so drop that notion. So adhyasa nivrutti eva karyam. That's how Brahma Sutra also, the Bhashyakara says, let us first establish adhyasa. If adhyasa is there, then my whole grantha will be definitely have a relevance. Yeah. So, Swamiji, I will have to experience Brahman. Forget about it. Forget about it. You are experiencing Brahman all the time. In fact, you are Brahman. What is the distance between you and Brahman? There is no distance. If distance is there, well, it may happen that you are experiencing right now and you may not experience later, and this and etc. Or you may not have experience, at any time. And now you want an experience. That is correct. But then if you are Brahman, and I is ever experience, directly experience, which is aparoksha. So aparoksha anubhava is already there. You should know what is ever experience and direct experience is Brahman. That's all. You should know it as it is. That's all. By adhyasa nivrutti. Anyway, so then when we said in the second line that Swayam Prakasha Chaitanyam Sada Aparoksham etc. in that verse 21, then Purupakshi comes up with a series of questions. Vidyaranya answers all. And in verse 22 we saw that there are 4 questions he asked. That he said, if Kutastha Chaitanya is directly experienced, it is ever experienced, then you cannot talk about ignorance of a Kutastha Chaitanya. And so my first question, he says, how can you talk about ignorance of a Kutastha Chaitanya which is ever experienced, directly experienced? So Kutastha Ajnanam is a myth, he says. It is not possible. And second question, he said, if ignorance of a Kutastha Chaitanya is not possible, then knowledge of Kutastha Chaitanya is also not possible. Means that is not required. Because Kutastha Ajnanam is not there. Where is the question of Kutastha Jnanam now? And therefore, because knowledge is defined as a removal of ignorance, and therefore Kutastha Jnanam also is not possible. So, that is second question. And then, the question is, how can you talk about Kutastha Jnanam, Aparoksha Jnanam of a Kutastha, etc.? You should not talk about it because there is no Jnanam. You said it is directly and ever experience, self-effulgent and all that. So, then there is no question of ignorance of that thing. Okay, then the third thing he asked is, this you are because he is going to introduce this Paroksha Jnanam and Aparoksha Jnanam. So he says, you cannot talk about a Paroksha Jnanam of a Kutastha and Aparoksha Jnanam of a Kutastha, because we may not have said till this point that Aparoksha Jnanam of a Kutastha. But he says aparoksha jnanam, that adjective aparoksham for a jnanam, that adjective is not necessary at all. That adjective is necessary when there is a paroksha jnanam. And therefore, paroksha jnanam of kutastha is possible. Then you said aparoksha jnanam, direct knowledge and indirect knowledge and etc. of kutastha. That is possible. But you should not talk about this aparoksha jnanam of kutastha. Why? Because there is no paroksha jnanam of kutastha. Why? Because paroksha aparoksha jnanam is only possible for objects, not for the subject. That's not for the subject. And therefore, you have an indirect knowledge of an object because the object is away from you. And you will have a direct knowledge because the object has come near to you, within your periphery of the senses, etc. So, kutastha does not come under remote or a close by object kind of a thing. It is ever an experienced subject, you are saying. And therefore, you cannot talk about paroksha jnana. In case of subject, it is not possible. Paroksha jnana is not possible. So, so these 4 questions he asked. Ajnana of kutastha is not possible. Then, jnanam of kutastha is not possible then. And then paroksha jnanam of kutastha is not possible. And therefore, aparoksha jnanam also you should not talk about it, etc. Then, Vidyaranya said, all the 4 are possible. So, he says, ajnanam jnanam, this pair. So, iti adaha dvayam. So, ignorance as well as knowledge with respect to kutastha, that's the first pair. And paroksham aparoksham, jnanam also. So, second pair, that is direct indirect knowledge of kutastha. That is both, all the 4 things basically, 2 pairs they are syat, they are possible. With respect to what? Nitya aparoksha. He says nitya aparoksha rupe kutasthe, which is ever aparoksha. For such a aparoksha kutastha, paroksha jnanam and aparoksha jnanam is possible. So this is Vidyaranya. So how you are going to explain these things? Give us some example. We are not able to understand. With respect to a aparoksha vastu, how paroksha jnanam is possible? How it is possible? He said, don't worry, we will explain you that. Yatha dashame. In the case of a 10th man, it is there, and therefore it is possible. And then we discussed that story also, in which we said, yes, that the 10th man himself, he is experiencing a 10th man, directly experiencing 10th man. Imagine. And then that he said, and he is searching for a 10th man. He wants to experience the 10th man. The directly experienced 10th man is in search of a 10th man. He wants to experience the 10th man now. It's an amazing thing. So, therefore, and he says, I don't experience 10th man. Where is he? Please bring him here. I have a responsibility to, what answer I will give to his parents, etc., etc. All this. And therefore, then he is searching. And of course, then this teacher came and then said, dashama asti. Okay. So, since he is searching for a 10th man, being even a 10th man, that shows he has ignorance of the 10th man. So, it's possible. Okay. Nitya aparoksha dashamaha. Nitya aparoksha dashamaha. He is experiencing the 10th man directly and permanently. Such a 10th man, he is in search of a 10th man, shows there is ignorance of a 10th man. So, dashamaha jnanam is possible. And therefore, dashamaha jnanam also is possible. Okay? And then paroksha jnanam also is possible. Even though nitya paroksha dashamaha, still paroksha jnanam. What is that paroksha jnanam? That teacher or that sadhu Maharaj, said, 10th man is here and now. Oh, very good. 10th man is here and now. That's it. That's a paroksha jnanam. That itself gave a respite to this 10th man. And then he said, count 9. And then he said, you are the 10th. So it is a paroksha jnanam. 10th man is told that you are the 10th, Mahavakya. So that is, basically a paroksha jnanam. And then now he all these things elaborately discussed. He brings out 7 stages in journey of a 10th man to gain 10th man. And so from verse 23 starts all the 7 stages. What is the first stage in case of a 10th man? Till he reaches to the, till he gains the 10th man. So what is the first step? Navasankhya ahruta jnana dashamah. So Navasankhya ahruta jnana. Since he was extrovert in counting of 9 people outside, one whose buddhi is carried away in counting this 9. Vibhramat, because of the delusion. Dashamaha asmina veti. Well, I am the 10th, he doesn't know. Tada, Brahmakale, he doesn't know that I am a 10th man. Vikshamanopi tan. Nava. Vikshamana. Vikshamana means he clearly, well, even though he clearly says, saying that 9 number, by, he counted 9, So, well, by exclusion, he is a 10th. It's so simple to, but Vikshamana, even though he is experiencing a 10th man, he has to simply say, I am 10th, this 9 I am counting outside. But somehow, he could not do that. He was totally absorbed in this 9. And so he doesn't know. He is an extrovert person. We have to count, we have to relate all these things to our story. We are all such a 10th man only. So this is stage 1. This stage 1 is of ignorance. That I am 10th man, he doesn't know. That's the first step. He doesn't know that I am 10th man. So he has a ignorance regarding the 10th man. Anyway, now verse 24 then, that also I think we saw. And he shows a second step. First step is this ignorance. Second step is avarana. And there is a very peculiar, he has brought out this avaranam also. That expressed ignorance is called avarana. So, person refers to, I gave you example of some, anything. Right? We can take any example, a Chinese language, etc. Well, that's true. Any language, well, earlier such a language is there, itself I was not knowing. So I did not know that I don't know Chinese language. Please understand me. And then I know that I do not know Chinese language. There is a big difference. I did not know that I don't know Chinese language because I don't know even the existence of a Chinese language. Therefore, there is a question of saying that I don't know Chinese language. So I did not know that I don't know Chinese language, and now I know that now there is the existence of a Chinese language, but I know that I don't know Chinese language. That's a 2-step. First step is ignorance. Second step is avaranam. The expressed ignorance of a Chinese language is called avaranam. So that is a avaranam. Same way here also, dashamaha na bhati. 10th man does not appear for me. Na asti. 10th man does not exist around. He has been lost. Iti, like this, in this manner. Dashamam matva vakti. The person thinks of 10th man and declares that 10th man is neither experience nor existence. That's called avaranam. So he denies experience and existence, even though he is a 10th, but he denies experience and existence of a 10th man. That's called avaranam. So Vidyaranya says, Swam Dashamam. He himself is a 10th man, well, basically, but he doesn't know. So in second line, which is Vakti, you should take it in the first line. So 24th, if you see there, Nabhati Nasti Dashamaha Iti Vakti. Swam Dashamam, even though he is a 10th man, well, Iti Matva Vakti. So Dashamaha Matva Vakti. So he, by seeing this, by knowing this, well, he says, well, he is not there. So this experience ignorance is called avaranam. Stage 2. Avaranam is created by ignorance because he very clearly says ajnana kritam avaranam. Ajnana kritam. Kritam means karyam, which is an effect of the ajnana. So avarana shakti of ignorance has become active. Now vikshepa shakti becomes active. That's the third step that he says in the verse number 25 that we read. So well, mind begins to, now he knows that, well, the 10th man, he doesn't, I don't experience the 10th man. Neither I experience, I mean, his existence or as a person. I deny. He denies an experience and existence of the 10th man. And from there, well, what happens? Well, basically, he is now thinking, he is imagining, basically, what would have happened to him, etc. What would, I mean, which part of the river he would have drowned, or I mean, that current might have dragged him somewhere else, and he might have gone, I mean, ahead, and he might have been saved by somebody, but in which bank it will be there, etc. This so many things he now imagines. All this wild imagination are called vikshepa shakti, because they are created. So from the avaranam, this is now, ultimately ajnanam has about these two shaktis, avaranam and vikshepa. But first thing is avaranam. Well, he says there is no 10th man. I don't experience him here, etc. And therefore he might have, I mean, so that is called avaranam. So, and then this vikshepa, imagination comes. Oh, he must have drowned, and in which part of the river he might have drowned, etc. This. All this is, imagination is called, which are created now, is called vikshepa shakti. So, Dashamaha Nadyam Mamara, he concludes, the 10th man died in the river, he drowned. So, this is Mamara, is a lit prayoga. So, generally we use for the history. So, so from Mrudhatu and Pratham, this Paroksha lit and Pratham Purush Ekvachanam. Normally, it is Atmanepadi, but in lit it has taken a Parasmaipadam, Mamara. Because Mru Mriyate, it's a fourth conjugation, means to die. And therefore it is Atmanepada. But this Mamara is a Parasmaipada form. So some of the roots basically take a Parasmaipada. I mean, the Atmanepada takes a Parasmaipada, Parasmaipada takes Atmanepada when certain, particular tenses come. So anyway, so Dashamaha Nadyam Mamara, this 10th man is drowned in this river. Iti Shochan, worrying about him, well, now Praroditi, well, he has started crying, and not ordinary crying, otherwise Roditi. Praroditi means he has started, he is crying loudly, and in that crying loudly, well, he started hitting his head with that on a tree, and so where a big bump has come, etc. So, he was supposed to be, basically thinking of why I have decided for this picnic, and I said I will be the leader. I told everyone's parent also that, well, I will bring all of them in a safe manner and all that. Why should I did? And so he was hitting his head on a tree, and he got a bump now. That bump has a very much value, I will tell you that. And so he discovered, basically, even though he's a 10th man, but he's doing all this, that they have lost 10th man, he's crying now. Now, when he gains a knowledge that this will, crying will stop, etc., right? Naturally, all things will stop after gaining knowledge that I am the 10th man, but bump will remain. That is what the situation is. Vidyaranya says that is prarabdha. Yeah. Jnani's prarabdha, well, even though Jnani also, say he literally musing, that how I was Brahman, but I took myself as a jiva, etc. And now, well, but considering himself as a jiva, now he got all this prarabdha and sanchita and all that. And so, due to prarabdha, he has got a body also. Now he knows he is Brahman, free from any body and everything. But now prarabdha will continue. What can you do? So that will be there. So all the karmas will go away, etc. But then this will remain. So this body is like a bump. Our body is like a bump. Well, it is caused due to ignorance. Ignorance of the self. So prarabdha bump continues for some time, even after jnana. Crying, heating, etc. will stop. But sometimes crying also continues. I know the children, sometimes, children are crying for basically some chocolate, and they cry so much. Then mother will give chocolate. Now, and after you give a chocolate, still they keep on crying. Then mother said, now I have given you or not chocolate. Why are you crying? So the crying continues for some time. So this is what the situation is. But anyway, here in our case, the crying, eating, etc. has gone. But that bump which is there due to ignorance of the 10th man has, got a hit with that tree, etc. That continues. Okay. So vikshepam, ajnanakrita vikshepam. Earlier it was ajnanakrita avaranam. Now this is ajnanakrita vikshepam. Both are born of ajnanam ultimately, of a 10th man. So this vikshepa shakti of ajnanam, well, causes this problem. Iti buddhaha viduhu. This is iti buddhaha. The people who know, they say this is a third step of this dashama. What is that? Vikshepa shakti. So first is ajnanam, second is avaranam, and third is a vikshepa. 3 steps are over out of 7. Now verse 26. Namruto dashamostiti shrutvaptavachanam tada parokshatvena dashamam vetti svargadi lokavat. So this crying, dashamaha, starts praying to various deities. The vikshepa means he has wild imagination, all this, he has drowned somewhere and this and that, etc. Or might have been in jungle, some lion might have just, bhakshanam, etc. Any kind of imagination can happen. So all this is vikshepa. And so such a crying 10th man starts praying to various deities. They say if you lose something, you should always pray to Anjaneya. That is how it is. And therefore Anjaneya will bring that lost thing to you. And in southern India, I think that is the thing. So what they do is, suppose if you lose something, then you pray to Anjaneya, and you have Shraddha that Anjaneya will go and bring that lost thing. So what you do in you will imagine a path also for him to go in search of this lost person or anything, and you put on the path some curd rice, etc. They put in some vessel and they tie it and keep it on a branch, etc. And you feel that because he needs, right? He's going in search, and so in between on a way he will be hungry, and so let's put some curd rice, etc. So you put some curd rice also. Anyway, so our 10th man also. This is all our story, by the way. But anyway, so definitely, due to grace of Anjaneya, where he was crying, this person came, right? A guru comes, and guru asks the story, why you are crying and why you have a bump on your head, why you are hitting, etc. And he said whole story, and then guru said, don't worry, I will fetch this 10th man. Dashamaha namrutaha asti. Dashamaha namrutaha asti iti aptavachanam shrutva. So the 10th man has not died. It is here. Don't worry. 10th man is there. Iti aptavachanam shrutva. Hearing words of a aptavachanam, words of a reliable or a trustworthy person. Well, he gains a knowledge of what? Dashamaha. He gains a knowledge of a 10th man. What kind of a knowledge? Paroksha jnanam. So parokshatvena vetti aptavachanam shrutva tada parokshatvena vetti. Tada means aptavachana kale. When our this person has spoken, this trustworthy person has spoken that dashamaha namritaha, the 10th man has not died. 10th man is there. Iti vachanam shrutva. This 10th man gains a paroksha jnanam of 10th man. 10th man gains a paroksha jnanam of a 10th man. And he gives an example. Svargadi lokavat. Well, like hearing a description of a heaven, na tatratvam na jaraya biveti, etc. in Kathopanishad, right? As Varnanam of Swarga is there. So basically, like there you hear about Swarga, etc. from the Shruti. Shruti is aptavachanam, trustworthy. saying of a trustworthy, well, basically words of a trustworthy. And therefore, you gain the knowledge of a Swarga, which is what kind of a Jnanam? So it is Paroksha Jnanam. Same way here also, Dashamaha Namritaha Asti, from the Aptavachanam. Well, 10th man is not died, he's there. Shutva, this 10th man gains 10th man, gain knowledge of a 10th man, that is Paroksha Jnanam, indirect knowledge. This is stage number 4, Paroksha Jnanam. Now verse 27. Tvameva dashamositi ganayitva padarshitah aparokshataya jnatva rishyateva naroditi. Now in this verse, all rest of the 3 stages, 5th, 6th and 7th, have been narrated. So Dashama first heard from this Aptavachanam, from the Aptapurusha. Well, he got a relative relaxation. And now after his mind has quietened, his crying has stopped, etc. Now teacher says, well, tell all these 9 to stand in a row. And then, well, and he did it. And he told him also, Ganayitva, he told that 10th man to count. And he counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At that appropriate time, well, this wise person told this 10th man, you are the 10th man. So, Ganayitva means after counting of other 9, Tvameva Dashamahasi iti pradarshitah. You are the 10th man. That was revealed to himself. Right? Pradarshita. Pradarshita means it was revealed. You are the 10th man. That was revealed to the 10th man. So 10th man was revealed as himself. So not told that you will experience the 10th man in future, etc. 10th man is ever experienced. No addition of a experience of a 10th man. We have to be very clear. 10th man does not get new experience. It is dropping a notion that 10th man is lost and etc. 10th man is not there, 10th man is died. I am not 10th, etc. So whatever the notion, all these notions are dropped by that Mahavakya. You are the 10th. And it is Mahavakya because it has been told to the 10th man. The 10th man has been told you are the 10th. That is Mahavakya. So, the Brahman has a wrong notion that I am Jiva due to my Maya. That's Ajnana Upadhi. Brahman with Maya Upadhi, Ajnana Upadhi, well, that is Jiva. So he is Brahman, but he takes himself to be Jiva. Then Mahavakya works. You are Brahman. By that, not Brahman has become evident to him. With Brahman, which is self-evident, ever experienced, directly experienced, but he took it himself as a Jiva. That wrong notion has been dropped by the Mahavakya. We have to be very clear. Some people say Pramana reveals Brahman. Pramana cannot reveal Brahman. Pramana cannot. It's not Pramana can reveal something which is inert. Pramata, Pramanam combined pair reveals something, Prameya, which is Jadam. Brahman is not Prameya. Brahman is not an object of knowledge. Otherwise, Bhagavan will not use in Bhagavad Gita word aprameya for Atma. We should be very clear. I am Brahman right now. I am experiencing Brahman. Ever experiencing in all the 3 states. But basically, I took myself to be, I have taken myself to be other than Brahman. So Mahavakya does this job, telling you you are Brahman, automatically makes you drop the notion other than Brahman. That's all. You take yourself to be a Jiva, a human being, this, that, etc. Anyway, so 10th man does not get any new experience. 10th man drops the notion, well, that I am not 10th man, etc. Or 10th man is lost, etc. So that's a cognitive change. And so 10th man is different from me. I have lost it. Maybe in the river he has died, or somewhere in the forest I have lost. Such a notion he has dropped. 10th man is different from me and I have to be experienced. That is the notion that is the notion which goes by the words of a Mahavakya or teacher or Shastra. That's all. This is called aparoksha jnanam. What is aparoksha jnanam? That, well, Brahman is different from me. That's a wrong notion. And you drop it. That's all. So now, basically, the self-evident self, which is ever experienced and directly experienced, oh, that is Brahman. That's all. So aparoksha jnanam means this. The Brahman is different from me. That's the notion goes by these words. No, but I basically take myself to be now complete and, limitless and without any kind of lack, etc. Well, I want to take it as a new experience. Even if you say it is a new experience, well, it is not, basically, 10th man. 10th man is experiencing 10th man, okay? That is what. 10th man is experienced by 10th man. That is better. So ultimately, that some people have that, for experience, they have a very much, they are vehemently saying this. No, we should take it as a new experience. Okay. So you are experiencing what? 10th man. That's a new experience? Yeah, new experience. Okay. Who is the experiencer? 10th man. Okay. 10th man is experienced by 10th man. Okay. Happy? Okay. It's what kind of a thing? What an orientation. The whole spiritual world, except this Vedanta, talks about experience. Because nobody talks about this Nitya Paroksha Vastu. What is aparoksham need not be experienced at all. It is ever experience is called aparoksham. People don't understand. That's how Puja Swamiji was so much, sometimes got excited also. So, what is ever experienced, you don't need an experience. 10th man is continuously experienced as a 10th man. But 10th man is different from me. He is lost, etc., etc. That was a notion he was carrying. That has gone by the words of that person. You are the 10th. Clear? So that is what it is. So, aparokshataya jnatva. He knows 10th man directly as ever experienced I. Aparoksha jnana. So, his eagerness to experience 10th man goes away. Jignasa nivrutti is aparoksha jnana. That's what I will say. Jignasa nivrutti. What I was searching, and is none other than myself. Instead of Brahman, you can put all the three. The peace I was searching is myself. The security I was searching is myself. The happiness I was searching is myself. Naiva roditi. Well, thereafter all crying stopped. Like that, basically, like the mother was, sometimes it happens that the child, remains, initially very small child, could not walk anything and just crawl himself or herself. And then he starts walking. And in India, the houses are very, close. They have a common wall. Sometimes child, just goes out and goes to the neighbor's house. And there they are playing with that. And these people have a house on the road. And mother is busy in cooking something. So she did not pay attention. And suddenly she realized, oh, where is child? And she gets all kind of imagination. And she goes out on the road and everywhere. And child enters from the back door in the home. So this is how it is. Anyway, so basically, shoka nivrutti, this takes place. He stops crying. Hrishyati, he's now happy. Why? Because I won't be scolded by the parents of the 10th man. He may be saying, I won't be scolded by the parents of the 10th man because we have got a 10th man, etc. Anyway, so these are the two steps. Shoka nivrutti and hrishyati is a phalam. Okay, that's a phalam. So aparoksha jnanam Shoka nivritti, sixth step. Aparoksha jnanam, fifth step. Shoka nivritti, sixth step. And ananda prapti, hrishyati, harshaha. So here, ananda prapti is a seventh step. So this is how all 7 steps have been described here. Let's go to verse number 28. He enlisting everything now. All that 7 steps in a verse number 28. Ajnanavritti vikshepa dvividha jnana truptayah shokapagama ityete yojaniyashchidatmani. So what is the first step? Ajnanam, ignorance of the 10th one. What is the second step? Avrittihi. Avrittihi means basically concealment actually. The direct meaning of avritti means a concealment or veiling, but that we cannot take it here. So we have to say expressed ignorance. That's called avranam. And what will be its form? I don't know 10th man. He doesn't exist. That's called avranam. So that expression is called avritti. Then the third step is a vikshepa, false projection, erroneous perception. He is lost, he must have died in the forest, or he must have drowned, this, that, etc. All imagination. That's called vikshepa. Fourth and fifth step, dvividha jnanam, paroksha jnanam and aparoksha jnanam. What is paroksha jnanam? Dashamaha asti. That's all. That's the paroksha jnanam. And aparoksha jnanam, aham dashamosmi, etc. And then sixth step, truptihi, contentment, happiness. And seventh step, shoka apagamaha. Apagama means gone, removal. So freedom from grief. Iti ete, these 7 stages, yojaniyaha, they have to be extended, they have to be employed. Well, in case of what? Chidatmani. It's the 7th case, Vishaya Saptami. Here in our Shastra, Saptami, most of the Saptamis are Vishaya Saptami. So you have to put him in Chidatmani. Atmani is the 7th case of our word Atman. Chidatmani, Chidatma Vishaye, with respect to Chidatma. This 7th step should be employed, should be extended, which we have already done in case of it. Dashamaha, 10th man example, same 7th step, Ajnanam, Avaranam, etc., etc., Vikshepa, Paroksha Jnanam, etc. All these steps should be extended or should be employed with respect to Chidatma also, or in the subject matter of Chidatma also. So basically, we laugh at a 10th man, but our story now continues. So with verse 28 now, the brief commentary on that Brihadaranyaka Upanishad mantra is over. I told you verse number 3 to verse number 28 is a brief commentary on that mantra. Of course, of the mantra, the first line has been very much elaborately discussed, right? What is the meaning of word Purusha? What is the meaning of word Ayam? What is the meaning of word Atma, etc. All these things. And Vijaniyat. What is the meaning of word should be known, etc. All this is discussed elaborately. But the second line of mantra is not discussed. Well, basically that is just a meaning is indicated by these two steps. Shoka nivritti and trupti. If you see the mantra in the first verse, see, Atmanam chet vijaniyat ayam asmiti purushah. That is the first line. And the mantra is referred in the first verse itself. So I'm going back to the first verse. Kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvaret. That indicates shoka nivritti and trupti. How? See, kimichan kasya kamaya means desiring. Kimichan, desiring what? And kasya kamaya. And for whose sake? I mean, shariram anusanjvaret. Well, I should be afflicted. Well, basically following the body's affliction. Basically. So means he is now free from these afflictions of this dehatma, etc. due to this knowledge. He is no more a desirer. He has no objects to desire. His all desires are fulfilled. So trupti. And at the same time, shariram anusanjvaret. Well, why should I get afflicted with the afflictions of the body, etc.? Because since he has given up the identification with the body, etc., well, shoka nivritti also is there. He is free from the afflictions of the body. And body's afflictions are going to be there. Frankly speaking, afflictions of the mind are gone. Totally gone. That's it. That is the thing actually. Jvara is here not jvara of the body, fever of the body. The fever of the mind is the worst fever. It doesn't go because there is no antibiotic for this. Only antibiotic is this Satyamithya Viveka. There is no way you can be free. Some people say, well, we'll try to cleanse the mind. Nothing is going to work. Nothing is going to work. Whatever you do, I just gave example in the morning itself. There we are doing Pancadasi, but 11th chapter. I gave an example of a brass pot. See, the brass pot at the time of Diwali in India, they do, right? They clean all this brass. Earlier in those days, they were having a brass vessels and we used to put on that almari and whole year. But at the time of Diwali, we bring them down and then clean it thoroughly with the tamarind and everything and make it very, very shining and then you keep it. Within a 1 month, again they become like this. But if it is of gold, it will remain like that. So this mind is a brass pot. Even if whatever amount of cleaning you do, and you will find something will prop. Swamiji, and now I have a total control on my anger. And you will find that your words you will have to swallow one day. So this is happening. I have no jealousy for anybody. If you are honest enough, you will find that somewhere it just comes out. It comes out. This is how it is. So then how will I how will I cleanse myself? Well, you know you are Atma, that is a golden pot. So you are ever free from this, basically. So you are ever free. Anatma is mithya, etc. This is the only way. And therefore, the second line, well, basically talks about Ashoka Nivritti and Trupti. So that has been mentioned here in the 6th and 7th step. So just meaning of that second line has been given in as a 6th and 7th step, Truptihi and Shoka Nivritti. And that is how we have discussed the whole Brihadaranyaka mantra 4.4.12 between verse number 3 and verse number 28. And now, so all now these 7 steps, 7 stages, now we have to employ it for Atma from verse number 29 to verse number 47. And then, well, elaborate analyzing of the second line, well, will be there from verse number 135 to 250. At that time I will remind you, but we'll start now a brief discussion of this, how this jiva also gains Brahman. Being Brahman, takes himself to be jiva, wrong notion, ultimately passes through 7 steps, and then, well, he gains Brahman as though. So that discussion we'll see from the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.